But we have folks online as well, board members and members of the public. So just as a friendly reminder to everybody, when you guys, when there are any questions, please raise your hand. I'm going to be paying attention to board members, members of the board and the public online, as well as everyone here tonight. So it's going to take me a minute, but please raise your hand so I can see you. Okay. And then what we are going to do is we're going to recognize board members, audience, just so that everybody has a fair play. And let's try to ask questions, you know, first and keep things smooth and concise meeting tonight. So that's pretty much the ground rules for our board meeting. With that, I'm going to turn it over to our neighborhood board assistant, Rachel, to perform the roll so that we can establish quorum. Thank you.
Okay. Mute people. Okay. When I call your name, please state that you're present or virtual. Bass.
Present.
Flores. Nehe. Aki. Sorry. Okay. We'll try that again. Nehe.
Virtual present. Difficult hearing you. You're underwater.
Okay. Thank you. Aki. Kim. Present. Thank you. Marilyn Lee. Ozawa.
Present.
Smart.
Present.
Mong.
Here.
Freed. I saw her here. Okay. Trotter.
Present.
Thank you. Williams.
Here. Online.
Thank you. Ramadi.
Present, virtual.
Hart.
Present, virtual.
Sasha Lee.
Present. Virtual.
Thank you. And then Gus. Here. Thank you. Ross.
Here.
Dao. Present. Nagamine.
Present.
Swarshina.
Present.
Sakura.
Present.
Thank you. Puuka'a.
Here.
Okay, with that, we have all board members here with 22.
It is a full house indeed. Okay. We're going to go right into the agenda and go straight to monthly report. I see that Honolulu Fire Department is here. Come on up.
Good evening, I'm Firefighter Seniors representing the Mililani Fire Station. I'm going to go ahead and read off to you guys the confirmed number of incidents in this geographical area, which is Mililani, Waipio, and Milimanu. So this is for March 2024. So for fires, we had one wildland/brush fire, one nuisance fire. For emergencies, we had 82 medical emergencies, 7 motor vehicle crashes, and 1 hazardous material incident. So for the fire safety tip for this month is evacuation planning. So have an emergency preparedness plan ready in case of an environmental emergency, fire, or natural disaster. Know two ways out of your home and consider the route you will take if you need to evacuate from your neighborhood due to an emergency. Visit fire.honolulu.gov to learn more. And then also for evacuation planning, you need to leave early enough to avoid being caught in fire, smoke, or road congestion. Also establish a predetermined location such as a well-prepared neighbor or relative's house, a low-risk area, or a shelter or evacuation center. And lastly, take your emergency supply kit containing your family and pets' necessary items. Any questions?
Thank you for your presentation. Members, are there any questions for Honolulu Fire Department? If so, please raise your hand. Seeing none, members of the audience, any questions for HFD? All right, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, moving right along, I see Corporal Muna is here from HPD. Welcome, Corporal.
Good evening, everybody. Corporal Muna, District 2 Community Policing Team. I just ate Plan A, so please forgive me if I fall asleep standing up halfway through. I'll try and push through this real fast. For stats for Mililani, for April, burglaries were at 2, assaults were at 8, UEMVs, which are, again, unauthorized entry motor vehicle break-ins, also 8, and robberies 0. Calls for service so far this month, 565. For any other stats, please visit honolulupd.org. Not only do they have the crime mapping website, which is really useful if you want to look at any stats in your area, but again, they just added that data dashboard, which is a whole slew of new stats that you have. You can look at cases cleared, things like that, the percentages of that. For safety tips month, we're getting close to the end of the school year, so the kids are going to be out. I just have some safety tips for the keiki. Before we get to the safety tips, actually, for those of you who don't have any keiki IDs yet, or if you're curious what it is, it's a safety card, has their name, emergency contact phone number, name like that, medical conditions, easy to get. You get it right there. It's free. Our next time we're doing it is May 17th in Wahiawa. But again, honolulupd.org has a whole list of our community events. So if you don't have one or you want to renew one that you do have, please come swing by. On that same note, if you do have little ones, if you or your parents or your grandparents, if they're old enough to know name or parents' name, address, please have them try and memorize that. If they ever get separated and they need to go ask someone for help, phone number and address is going to be one of the first things they ask. Have that talk with them about who a trusted adult is outside of mom and dad, auntie, uncle, grandma, grandpa. Like if they're at the mall, they can go into a store, police, someone like that they can turn to in case they ever get separated. Always try and set up a meeting location if you guys are out at the mall or whatever. If we do get separated, hey, let's meet at the fountain, so on and so forth. For stranger danger, it's one of the things we try and push a lot in the elementary schools. Heaven forbid anything like that does happen to them, but first thing you want to teach them is what a bad stranger is, what kind of behavior you're looking for, like someone that they don't know that comes up, ask them to go with them, go look for a puppy or help them with something. First thing that you want to have them do is just yell stranger danger. I think the first knee-jerk reaction is for them to yell help. That's great. The catch with that, though, is that sometimes, someone might be walking by and they see, a little kid saying help. They might think, that's the parent trying to get the, kid back in the car, kid probably not listening. If they yell stranger danger, it is no mistake, that the child needs help. So have them yell stranger danger. Second step is to run, just run. And if they can run and scream that at the same time, better yet. Last ditch effort is to fight. Just teach them punch, kick, scratch, claw, poke, whatever it takes. Just scream, fight, whatever it takes if there's someone trying to grab them. And then as soon as they can, run into somewhere and let any kind of adult know that they need help. Yeah. On that same note, we're also teaching in the school internet safety, online predators. So you can have that same talk with them at home. Minecraft, Fortnite, things like that. These creeps that are on there too. They're trying to get where you live, what school do you go, things like that. So just have that talk with them as far as, especially with summer coming up. Yeah, there's going to be a lot more time at home. So that's it for safety tips. Are there any questions?
Mahalo, Corporal Muna. Members, are there any questions? Catherine, followed by Marilyn.
Good evening. Are you ever going to monitor vehicles running the red light? I see it constantly, every day. And in my own neighborhood, I always look to the left, to the right, and right again. And this car behind of me just blasted his horn. So it's getting pretty dangerous. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I agree. Since the last couple times we mentioned this too. They do monitor, we monitor ourselves. In fact, like one of the reasons when someone asks a question, you'll see me writing down what you guys say not only just stops with me, but it goes all the way up to the chain to the assistant chief and so on and so forth. So laterally, it will go down to the major and then down to the lieutenants who send the officers out. So they do, especially I think that intersection you and I are talking about by like, not Chili's, but Ruby Tuesdays, or yeah. You see it, especially when they have that, the green left arrow and then it turns yellow, then it turns red. They're still trying to smoke it through there. So unfortunately, you give the citations, but there's always going to be someone out there who's late for something and they're going to try and push it. So we'll keep doing what we can.
Thank you, Marilyn. Go ahead.
Yes, good evening. Thank you for being here in the rainy night.
Yeah.
I did ask last time whether there was a police report on the dangerous dog bite on Ikaloa Street. And also asked if there was a police report filed.
Yeah, so let me email Chair Bass because I have some information on that. I don't know how much I can really disclose right here, but whatever I can, I will get that to you though. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I understand that there has been a gate put up, but I am concerned if there was not a police report filed. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. And then for something like that as well too, it's good to everybody in the area know too, because if it is a dog that is running, stray.
Absolutely. And then in this case, it was 3 dogs that,
Absolutely.
and they did injure 2 other dogs very severely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Members, are there any other questions for HBD this time? Okay, members of the audience, are there any questions? Any at all for Honolulu Police Department? All right.
Okay.
Well, you get out lucky tonight.
I'll take it. Right on. Thanks guys. Have a good night. Aloha.
Have a good one. Okay, next up, we got the Military Combat Aviation Brigade 25th ID. I see that Major Daniel Ball is available online. Welcome, please proceed.
First, just want to make sure you guys can hear me fine.
Yes, we can, loud and
Okay, awesome. Hey, a couple of notes to the team. First off, apologies for the absence last month, technical difficulties, and wasn't able to log on. But as we get into this month, like every month, we do have the job fair that's coming up in April. However, that job fair already happened. Sorry about that. For training advisories, want to talk on the training advisory has gone out. Several upcoming training events that are happening. As a reminder to the team and anybody that wants to receive the training advisory, wants to be on the email distribution list, if they email usag.hawaii.comrel, that's COMREL @army.mil. That's one-stop shopping. Send that email address an email saying, hey, please add me to the training calendar distribution. And anyone in the community can get access to the training advisories just so people know what's happening. As an example there, we'll offer to the group. We had a sit down with the 25th Infantry Division with Dr. Hazama from the Mililani Malka board today to talk about some of the recent training events that had happened because of complaints and comments that had happened throughout. So just for the group, we will take the comments, questions, feedback from the audience and the board members here. That gets consolidated, sent up to our superiors, and then we have a meeting about it afterwards just to make sure that all questions are addressed. And sometimes we will pull in other units when it is, because from the Mililani Malka board, there were questions about aviation, so they brought me in to answer those questions. Just again, I offer that as an example. And then another thing with the training advisories going out. So we have started through our public affairs team in cooperation with Hawaii News Now on their news channel, on the tickers along the bottom of the screen. They will display some of the training advisories and upcoming training events on those tickers throughout the programming. It's something we're starting to get going with them just as another way to get information pushed out to the community. Last thing that I want to touch on is the prescribed burns that we just did on Schofield. They happened last week. Great success with the burns necessary to make sure that we're getting some of the old foliage away. But happy to report no fires got out of hand. We had our Bambi firefighting aircraft on standby. Never even got called. So great work by the fire department getting those happening. But we are done with the prescribed burns. And Chair, that's all I have from my side, but I'll stand by for questions from the board and the audience.
Mahalo, Major. Members of the board, are there any questions for U.S. Army? Member Ross, go ahead.
Aloha. On the west end, Cam Highway going down the hill, like always, I see you guys replace the gate that somebody busted through. I see now it's a yellow cattle gate. But there's still a lot of space on the sides for space to go around, for people to go around, things like that. Is that going to get adjusted? Are you guys going to be putting up a different gate? Or is that the way you guys are going to be securing it? And then are you guys going to be doing your monthly or quarterly monitoring of that area? Because I know that was one of the big areas that we had a lot of individuals going in and out.
Yes, sir. I do not know the answer to that question, but I'll get the answer and follow back up with the board here and push it out to you guys.
Members, any other questions for U.S. Army? Okay, members of the audience, any questions for the United States Army at this time? All right, seeing none, thank you so much, Major Ball.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have Board of Water Supply. Kathy, come on down.
Aloha. Happy to report no main breaks in your community this past month. And just a reminder, as we move into the summer season, to watch your water use. We are going into a drought, La Nina, and of course, the whole wildfire. I think a lot of us are concerned, especially what happened just earlier this year in Mililani. We want to be very aware of our water use. Chair had asked me to give a quick update on the issues that we had up in Mauka a month ago or so. We had a pump that went down, and this should not have bothered anybody on this side of Kamehameha. It was, or the freeway rather, it was all up in Mauka. But we had a pump that went down at Mililani Wells 4. It was starting to pull air into it. We did go out immediately. We tested for biological incursions. There were none. In milky water, it's just air in the water. You just let your gas sit for a minute and it'll clear up. It's not an issue. We have to replace the pump. It's completely dead. And the pump has been ordered, and we hope to get it replaced in the next 2 to 3 months. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen. Members, any questions for the Honolulu Board of Water Supply? Okay, members of the audience, any questions for Honolulu Board of Water Supply? All right, thank you so much for that presentation.
Aloha.
Okay, at this time, I'm going to announce that our neighborhood board has a vacancy, members. Sub-District 3, which is, let's see, the area west of Meheula Parkway on the Safeway side, all the way spanning to Kunia and all the way down southwest. Sub-District 3 has one vacancy at this time. So are there any individuals who would like to fill that vacancy? Don't all jump to it. Okay. All right, seeing none, we're going to keep that on the agenda. So, think about it and come back next month. Okay. And we're going to move on to the approval of meeting minutes. I'm going to turn it over to Secretary Gustafson on our minutes for March 27th.
Our minutes for March 27th were sent out with the agenda for this month. I received no revisions or corrections. Does anybody have anything now they'd like to present? Then I would move to approve the meeting minutes.
A second.
Okay, it's been moved by the secretary, seconded by member Ross. Any discussion on minutes? Hearing none. Are there any members who oppose the minutes? Any members abstaining? Seeing none, the minutes pass unanimously. Thank you, members. Okay, at this time, this is why everyone's here. We're going to move into board business. Members, there was a recent town hall provided by Mayor Blangiardi, which covered the Wahiawa Mililani areas up in Wahiawa about 2 weeks ago. And so many members of our Mililani community, representing from the hockey league here, as well as our Mililani residents who skateboard over at District Park, actually vocalized some concerns in our community at that town hall 2 weeks ago, specifically on Kauma'aiku Neighborhood Park, which has an inline hockey court. There has been requests by Mililani residents and citizens in general to add some lighting, roof covering, as well as some flooring since there's cracks in that hockey rink. We have some members of the Hawaii Hockey League here tonight and Mililani resident Kimo-chan. And following that presentation, what we're going to do is we're going to have some brief questions and answers. And I emphasize the word brief. Our our committee chair of Parks and Recreation Committee, Sabrina Gustafson, has drafted a resolution for your consideration, members, supporting the improvements of Kaumaiku Neighborhood Parks outdoor inline skating facility and the funding there. I'd like to note that City Council Member Val Okimoto has put in some capital improvements as well as an operating budget improvement in the City and County of Honolulu's budget process right now, and that is mentioned in this resolution. So Sabrina will be covering that in her motion. Following the potential passage of that resolution, then we're going to go into the Mililani District Park skate park, in which Dyson Romanes will be presenting. That skate park was built in 2002 and for the last 22 years has not had lighting. So members, if you could take a look at the Mililani District Park, you'll see that all the amenities there has lighting. The park is open until about 10 p.m. However, there is no lighting there either. So that is just a brief overview of tonight's business. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome Kimo, please come make your presentation. Come up there. Trying to make some outcome on the agenda. Same stuff as before. Same. Can't even do my little. For those online, we're just experiencing some technical difficulties. Thank you for your patience. Hi. That's it. For now, and then I could get downloaded. Thank you, Representative. Okay, Chemo, go ahead.
All right. Hello. Okay. Yep. So I'm Kimo. I'm representing Hi Hawaii Inline Hockey Inc. And who we are, we're a volunteer nonprofit group committed to providing a fun, safe, and inclusive environment where children and adults of all skill levels can learn and play the sport of inline hockey. We couldn't try. What we aim to do, build character, teamwork, and sportsmanship, promote a healthy lifestyle, foster community by promoting positive relationships and a sense of belonging both on and off the rink, and of course, inspire lifelong and hockey. Just like the skateboarders who want all the keiki to do this into their 60s if they can, you know what I mean? Current challenges is inclement weather. 25% of our practices last season got canceled due to rain. 5 out of 10 game weekends were affected by rain through game delays, postponed to another day. And this happens, you know, you can't really see too much, but the parents try to jump out and we're drying it with squeegees, waiting for the sun to help dry it up. And if not, the season just gets extended. The kids don't get to play, and most of the time the games are canceled on those days. It's just not families from Mililani, but families come from all over Oahu, really. Hawaii Kai, the windward side, pretty much all over. And a lot of times they'll come through traffic only to be met by rain, and practices and games are canceled. Recently, Hi hosted a free clinic where people came from all over the island and also including from Maui, and we got rained out, and we had to conduct the clinic underneath the pop-up tents at the park. A solution to that would be a roof covering for the rink to keep it safe and dry and allow play in all conditions, weather conditions. Additional benefit of the roof is it just helps the young athletes stay cooler and provide comfort for parents and volunteers who may spend over 10 hours at the rink on a game day. So there's one of our youth hockey goalies. You really heat up in all that gear, especially in the summer months. This is just some pictures of kids hiding in the shade. Another challenge we have is limited daylight. Our growing community, like I said, we have our youngest player is 4 and our oldest player is 50. And we're getting new kids sometimes it feels like every week we have new kids signing up for our league, which is super cool. Right now we're permitted to use the rink from 5 to 7. I mean, that's till the sun goes down. And then our practices start at 5. That's when most families can make it. And we play our games from 8 a.m. till sunset on Saturdays. And we're pretty much maximizing all of our time we can. Oh yeah. So most of our time goes to our youth, which is what we're all here for anyways. But we have to turn away a lot of adult players who want to join the league just because there's not enough time for everyone to play. So a solution with that would just be some lights, allow us to play longer in the day or into the night. And then the last challenge we have is a dilapidated subpar playing surface. It works for us. It was built in 2020, so the concrete is old. There you can see. Oh, I'm sorry, 2000. I'm sorry. Yep. Thanks, guys. Yeah. Sorry. But yeah, wheels do tend to get caught in the cracks. Results in trips and falls. The rough concrete surface, even with the protective gear, a lot of the kids bang up their knees and elbows, as Billy Wilcox. But yeah, they get all kind of scrapes. It's an added cost to the families. Your gear just wears out a lot quicker on concrete. A set of wheels on sport tiles could last you years. On the concrete, lucky if it lasts you a season. Same thing with blades, and your skates even break probably within a season sometimes, depending how much your kid skates. So this is what we're looking for is a playing tile surface that it's made for skating on, and it just helps protect your gear and the players. And when our players go to the mainland for tournaments, a lot of times we have to fly in a whole day early just to get used to the surface to stay competitive against the mainland teams. So yep, the solution, like we talked about, was hockey tile, and that would just provide a safer play, decrease gear replacement costs, and help Hawaii teams be more competitive. Bottom line, we're super excited to be in the community. I started playing in 1994. I started coaching in 1999. I coach all my kids. I coach all my friends' kids. We're super great, and we're super happy to be out there. And with the improved facility, it'd just be a safer and more accommodating place to learn. And yeah, we're just super happy to be here in Mililani and provide this service to all the islands of Hawaii. That's it. Mahalo.
Thank you, Kimo. All right, members, are there any questions? Okay, Mary, followed by Emil.
Thank you. Very good briefing. I see the cost, so 100,000 for the flooring.
Yes.
And then 2 million capital improvement. So that's the roof, lights, anything else?
That's the roof and lights, yeah.
Okay.
And then if I could just speak on that. So we did get a builder who uses the locking solar panel roof. So with his credits, it would be earning like $1 million back in credits. And also with the energy produced, it would pay itself off in 5 years.
Okay, and just one other thing, since I heard Councilmember Al Okimoto put something in the budget. Was that approved, or is that
It's
just being requested?
I'll take that. Since Val is in the audience.
I didn't say- oh,
So she put in the budget request. It's before the city council for consideration. Hasn't been approved yet. It's going through the process right now.
Okay, thank you.
Emil.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. I used to play hockey myself, so I was trying to go there, but it's always locked. So who's gonna take care of it if we do this improvement and it's gonna be open to the public?
Oh, the court is actually open now. It opened last year. They took the locks off, and yeah, it's open to skate on.
So who's gonna maintain it if it's gonna be improved?
I think we could work with the city on that, because you're right, it does need to be maintained, and it would help to be locked up, because a lot of times we'll show up on a Saturday morning and the rink is covered in beer bottle crack, you know. So you're 100% correct that there has to be some kind of cohesiveness on how to lock it up and make sure people just can't access it, especially during the nighttime.
Okay, I see online we have Josie has her hand up, followed by Les, followed by Dennis. So go ahead, Josie.
Thank you. Yeah, I was going to bring up about the activity of drinking over there and who's going to maintain it at night. But have you contacted the neighbors over there to get their input? Thank you.
No, we haven't contacted the neighbors. This was kind of our first step dealing with the Mililani neighborhood people. Figure we kind of just take it from here.
Okay, Les.
What other athletic sports are happening on there besides on that parcel that you guys are using?
Yeah, so right now, it's us and a roller derby.
Roller
is
derby.
currently using it. Yes, sir.
Okay. And the public is using it too, like skateboarders, that kind of stuff?
No skateboarders. It's mainly used for like roller skating or inline hockey.
Okay.
Or inline skating.
I was just thinking that there might be some other groups that might come forward and want to use it too when it's not being used or something like that, or could creep up, as far as your scheduling or whatever. Somebody feel like, wow, man, why can't we use it too, or share it?
Right. Yeah.
But something to look at, that could
Yeah.
pop up along the way.
Sure.
Thank you.
All right, Dennis.
I have a question, just so that I'm clear on this. We're talking about the roof. There. Okay, the roof. And are you looking at walls or fence or?
Currently there is a fence. We wouldn't need walls. A lot of times when you go to the mainland, it is just like an open. It's just open walls, and it's just a roof, really.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, members, any other questions regarding this presentation? Yes, Ed.
Yeah, just one question. Just to follow up on the use of possibly the public, could it be used as possibly when it's not being used for hockey, public skating ring?
Yeah, definitely. So that's when we were talking to the city and the parks department before, we had said it would be a super great opportunity. If we finish our games on like a Saturday at 6 or 7, and then they opened it up and played some, even had the lights on. I'm not exactly sure how that would work, but it would be super cool for the community.
Sure.
Right here in Mililani, because they have the place in Kapolei that has open skating, kind of like Ice Palace kind. But if that was right here in the community and parents didn't have to drive to Kapolei, that's something we definitely thought would be awesome.
Yeah,
So-
I'd like to see this happen for you because youth sports is very important. And what caught my ear in your presentation was, and I had to write this down, building healthy relationships.
Yes,
And
sir.
that is very important. I've never heard Little League teams come out and say, we're building healthy relationships for our team. And if that's what you guys are doing out there, I commend you folks, for both men and women out there. And good luck.
Thank you.
Any other questions, board members? Member Ross.
On island, what other opportunities for roller rinks are there? Or is it like Mililani is the one and done, or are there other opportunities for other?
So there is another public rink out in Hawaii Kai. There's no hockey out there. I believe the roller derby plays there as well, and I think a skating group like they do skating, just like fun skating. Those are the two public options, and then there is a private facility out in Kapolei, Kapolei Inline Hockey Arenas. But and it's super nice out there, but we're trying to bring something that's cheaper for families. It is a lot more costly because it is a private business, and this is just a way we can just give back and offer something a little bit cheaper for the families.
So not only would this really open up just for pretty much everything except for Hawaii Kai, but it would give like a central location everywhere else on the entire island could all come out, could all not only enjoy inline skating, but also a roller rink or possibly expanding on roller derby and other types of community events that we could do throughout the entire island is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay, any final questions, members of the board? Right, members of the audience, are there any questions? Yes, please introduce yourself to the mic.
Hello, my name is Kaipo Cabral. I'm a coach, volunteer coach out for Hi as well. To address your concern as far as Dennis for the cover, there's actually the proposal that was done. I have a picture here if you want to take a look at as far as what that interlocking solar roof looks like. It covers the whole court and it's actually pretty awesome. And it keeps the sides open, nice and neat. As far as to address your concern, as far as it being something for the potential public, we really love the way that how Maui has their setup. They have pretty much, it's almost like in the middle of their Waikiki in Kihei, and they have their hockey league as well as the roller rink after. So they have a setup inside there where they have rentals and everything for everybody to come out. The whole community can come out. We would definitely love if we can partner up with the city or state, whoever it may be, to actually run the same thing. That way it can generate a lot more income for everybody and also bring everyone from the whole island in. We would definitely love that.
Any other members of the public or audience would like to say a question? Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Harmony Moses. I represent a large group of roller skaters here on the island. We do more like the kind of dance ring style skating like you were talking about. And we attended the town hall meeting last year to push to get the rink opened for public use, which it was, and we're so thankful for that. They said it's open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily, but only free skate hours currently, which has been actually talked to Christine, I believe, from Park and Rec. She said you only can use it for free skate from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., which is when most of us are at work, so we can't really use it due to that. We haven't been able to use it at all, even though it's been open for public use. We haven't been able to use it at all because either it's booked out for permitted times and we don't know. We have no knowledge of when the permitted times are and when the free skate times are. And there's no lights. So, you know, like you said, the daylight is limited. So that short time where there is daylight, we all trying to share it and we're all trying to use it. And it's just hasn't been working. Roller skating has been very good for mental and physical health for people my age, for kids, for everyone. So it's something that's I'm really passionate about. Basically, we're asking if the Mililani outdoor hockey rink can get lights and if there could be maybe a clear posted schedule somewhere that we can know when is the scheduled times for permits and when is the time for free skate. Kind of like they have a schedule posted at the Mililani gym. They have it says when you can go play basketball or volleyball and when, you know, you can't because there's events going on. Okay, mahalo.
Okay, I'd like to thank you, Harmony, for bringing that up. Apologies, there's only so many drafts of the resolution. With what I'm gonna do, I know we're still in some discussion, but to answer some of your concerns, we've written in this draft resolution for consideration. Specifically, I'm gonna read it. Now, therefore, be it resolved, should this pass. The Mililani Waipio Melamano Neighborhood Board hereby requests the City and Council of City and County of Honolulu to prioritize, allocate resources for the improvement of Ka'omaiku Neighborhood Park, outdoor skating facilities, roof covering, lighting, and flooring to accommodate the needs of inline hockey, roller skating, and roller derby. So we've mentioned all users. And then further resolved, we request timely action and collaboration between the relevant city departments, all of them that would work on this capital improvement should it pass the City Council, to work with the Hawaii Inline Hockey Incorporated, the Aloha City Rollers, the Pacific Roller Derby, and any other community inline roller skating and roller derby stakeholders to ensure the successful implementation of these improvements. So hopefully that addresses the concerns you raised.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. As of right now, we skate in volleyball courts, but we get kicked out or parking lots, but it's pretty dangerous.
Okay.
And
Right.
I'm also here to support my brother and they're the skateboarders. So I support all wheels.
All the wheels. Thank you. And Bill, you have a question for Harshni?
I have a question. Can you just point of clarification? You mentioned free skating. That means for anybody in the public, or is it?
Similar to how the skate parks are just open at all times for anyone to use.
You can play tennis,
that's-
so you can
that's-
go rollerblade.
That's what we wanted for the rink. And we do understand and respect that the hockey guys, you know, they have their permitted times. And we would just like to know when it's not being used by them, if we could just use it for open skate.
So the free means no charge.
Open to the public.
No
Just
charge.
like if you were to go play basketball or volleyball.
Exactly, okay.
You can just show up and do your
Because,
sport,
he was talking about some, financial benefits for all. I don't know what he meant. So free means free. You go there, then somebody can limit the number of people probably, so it make it safe, but at the same time.
Sure, do they do that at the skate park or the basketball court? Do they put the limit?
No.
Maybe not.
So just for the record,
Thank you.
folks, just for the record, this is a city park facility, right? So it's already open to the public, right? Not one entity has taken over anything. This doesn't benefit one entity. This benefits all of us as members of the public and taxpayers. So this is a free facility that's already in existence. And what these requests are is just to have lighting, a better surface to skate on, and some covering, right? And of course, if this resolution passes by this board, we are in support of that these improvement proposals for this public facility that's open to all. And we are encouraging the city and county to work with the respective community groups all the community groups on wheels, hockey, roller derby, and personal skating. Okay, so just as a friendly reminder, it is a public facility, it's not privatized. Any other questions at this time before we go into the resolution? All right, thank you, folks. I'm going to turn it over. I see that our esteemed Parks and Recreation Committee Chair has the resolution to offer.
You want me to read it again? You read it.
You can just for clarification for the members.
Okay. Our resolution that we're putting forth is supporting improvements to Mililani's neighborhood parks outdoor inline skating facility, including the roof covering, lighting, and flooring for inline hockey and roller skating park users. So now therefore it be resolved that the Mililani Waipahu Mililani Neighborhood Board number 25 hereby urges the Honolulu City Council and the City and County of Honolulu to prioritize and allocate resources for the improvement of the neighborhood park's outdoor skating facilities roof covering, light, and flooring to accommodate the needs of inline hockey, roller skating, and roller derby park users. And be it further resolved that the Mililani Waipahu Mililani Neighborhood Board number 25 requests timely action and collaboration between relevant city departments, the Hawaii Inline Hockey Corporation, Aloha City Rollers, Pacific Roller Derby, and other community inline roller skating and roller derby skate holders to ensure the successful implementation of these improvements, enhancing the safety, accessibility, and enjoyment of the neighborhood park for all residents. I move we approve this resolution.
A motion has been made by Committee Chair Gustafson,
Second by Segura.
seconded by Segura. Members, we're in discussion in this resolution before you. Is there any discussion on this matter? Emil.
Just a note, I'm not sure, should we include the time limit? How long would it take to implement? I know we are mentioning the timely manner, but just for discussion.
I agree with that. I think that the city parks department would be the appropriate entity to figure that out and work with the respective groups. Any other discussion on this resolution, members? Vice Chair.
Yeah, just to respond to that, what we're really supporting here tonight is just the budget request that is currently being considered by council. So even if council signs off on that and that gets included in this year's CIP budget, it would take some time just for the city to actually construct these improvements. I mean, just because, this is like a $2 million project. It's not a quick or simple project. So it would take some time to implement. But once it does get done, then, as we've heard tonight, this would be a significant benefit for the people who use this rig. And really one of the things that I would like to point out is that this is literally one of only 3 venues on the island for, roller skating and roller derby. So it's not a benefit just for us here in Mililani. It's a benefit to everyone who lives on Oahu.
For a point of clarification, if the council members do approve this, and the budget is approved, is there a timeline to when the budget funds would go away, or once it's approved for life?
I think that's an appropriate question for our city council member over there. Val, why don't you come up?
Hello, everyone. Councilmember Val Aquino Okimoto, District 8, Mililani, Pearl City, Aiea, Waipahu. That is a great question. And thank you, Trevor, for enlightening us with the process. Whenever something comes through government, there is a lengthy process with permitting, and then we have to go through design. And then if there's construction that happens also. So the monies that we're doing this for is to budget for the CIP. I believe there's a time lapse. I don't know the exact, because we're still through the budget process right now. And so and I will report that we did put $2 million, and that's what I stated, and we have it in there still. But the process will start now. And usually this will be we go through the permitting, the design, and then the building of it. So the goal is to get it all done. I will get back to you. I'd have to work again. I have to go double check actually on what the project will require and then the timeline for that. But I know when we met last year with Chemo and Bo, that was the goal back then was to get a fundraiser, a donor to do the flooring, but that never came through. So now we're trying to start from scratch and go through the process that I'm going through with the CIP budget. So I don't have a deadline for you. I can find more out, but it does matter on what we get approved and what part of the project we're going to be starting with.
Okay. Thank you, council member. Is Tracy here?
Tracy, my buddy.
Tracy is the mayor's rep. Thank you, Tracy, for being here. Do you have an answer of the lifetime of an appropriation if passed by council?
So any CIP is valid for 2 years. Once it is passed and if mayor signs it into law, then it's a 2-year period for appropriation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Members, any further discussion on this?
I know I got it. So the deadline will be June 30th, 2026, 2 years from this year's budget that we're addressing. So right now we have a budget 2024, and Tracy's right. So the deadline will be June 30, 2026. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Further discussion on the resolution proposed before us. Les, go ahead.
I'm thinking that if we can have this and raise revenues in this district, I think it's a win-win. I really do. And at first I was thinking maybe we should defer it until things get a little bit more clear with the city council and as they move it along. But now that I think about it, I really think that can earn some revenues in this district. I'm pretty sure we can all come behind this. Pretty.
Thank you. Any other members discussion on this proposal? Okay. I just want to make one point. I want to thank Councilmember Okimoto for doing the CIP project for the Honolulu City Council and advocating for the Mililani community. So thank you for that. Okay, members, hearing no more further discussion, we're going to go into a vote. Actually, are there any opposed from the neighborhood board? Are there any members opposed to the resolution before us? Seeing none, are there any members abstaining? Seeing none, this resolution passes unanimously by the Mililani Neighborhood Board. Congratulations. Go get them, Val. All right, next up, I want to welcome Dyson. Where are you? There you are. Dyson Romanes will be presenting on the need for lighting at the District Park Mililani Skate Park.
Okay. Aloha, my name is Dyson Ramones. I'm here to represent for the skateboarders. For many of us, skateboarding has saved our lives, and it has been a second family, whether we come from broken homes or just needed an outlet. Skateboarding was there for us along with the friendships we've made along the way. We're here to push for the lights at Mililani Skate Park. The city started the project when the park was built in the early 2000s, but never followed through. There's a green panel box and all electrical is in place. The bases for the poles were covered up with cement right before the park was about to open. A lot of us have jobs and families, so with having lights, we can bring our kids after work and enjoy the park when the sun goes down, just like other families who do other sports. The baseball field and tennis courts are lit till 10 p.m. Some nights they are empty. The skate park is always in use and we take care of it on our own dime, from painting it yearly, keeping it graffiti free, and teaching the kids to take care of it as well. The only name in the park is our friend Nick that passed away, which we do a memorial every year with the barbecue and giveaways for the local kids. Our friend Cody and business owner, right over here, has been lighting the park for the past few years on his own dime as well, with generators and lights till about 9:30 p.m. And we haven't received any complaints about noise in those past few years. If HPD does come, they tell us the park is closing soon. We're also working with the local electrical company to help with the budget. Please consider following through for us and our future generations. Mahalo.
Well, thank you, Dyson. You might have to be available for questions. Members, any questions for Dyson? Emil, followed by, oh, Mary, go ahead.
Thank you. Nice briefing. Now, the last resolution had some pricing. You say you're working with some people on the budget.
Yeah, we're trying to.
Do you have a
Yeah.
ballpark of how much it will cost?
Get a ballpark, Ash? Friend Ashley's help. Sorry to throw you under the bus.
Ashley, please introduce yourself for the record.
Hi, my name is Ashley Ohia. I'm the mother of a skateboarder, Nico, and my husband skateboards as well and uses the park. So there is an electrical contractor that is willing to help volunteer do the work, also providing wires. They want to remain anonymous right now, but they already did a job walkthrough at the skate park with Parks and Rec District Manager Carrie Leong for the central area, along with the maintenance team and Dory from city. And also Val Okimoto was there as well. So they checked the concrete bases and it was favorable results. There were screws. They were able to open up the poles, the bases. So it's work that the electrical contractor can do. Right now, they're just waiting for maintenance to get back if there is poles available or if they procured lighting.
Does someone have to put a line item in the budget for you anywhere that you need the help to get the funds?
As of right now, no, but it may change depending on the cost of the materials if they don't have it in stock.
Thank you. Members, any further questions regarding this presentation? Ed?
There are other skateboard parks throughout the island.
Skate parks, yeah.
Yeah. Are they lighted?
All the park is, Kailua. Oh, sorry. Ala Park is and Kailua Rec, and Eva Beach.
Oh, it's about
And
time.
Waianae.
Okay,
That's
then
about
it's about time Mililani should have it too then, right?
Yeah, if you got it in the heart of Eva Beach too, yeah, so. You should
Okay.
get one too.
Thank you.
Members, any other questions? Vice Chair.
So just to clarify, so what it sounds like is that you have someone who is already lined up and willing to essentially donate the materials and labor to the city, and you just need to get permission from the city to do all that?
Basically, yeah, that's what it seems like, right?
Members, any other questions? Looking online. Okay. Members of the audience, any questions regarding this matter? All right, seeing none. I'm going to turn it over to Parks and Recreation Committee Chair
Excuse
Sabrina
me.
Gustafson. Oh, sorry. Come on. Yeah. Sorry about that, council member.
Can I just clarify with Ashley and those who are here, because we did get to meet and I was there at the town hall with the mayor. The first information that was provided, and I just want to make sure I know what my office needs to do was that it was parts and labor, but the last word I got was for sure labor. Has that changed? And we were, because I asked if we needed to then start budgeting for parts, and we're not sure. Labor was for sure, but I just want to be sure so that my office knows what we're dealing with, because the last conversation I had with her was the labor for sure, and I know, let's say parts and labor.
Yeah, labor for sure. Wires they have as well. It's just the poles. I believe the drawings, the electrical contractor has the skate park drawings right now. And upon viewing, it requires a 38-foot pole. So Mike from maintenance was checking to see if they had that procured before. He's getting back to the company, but right now, if they do not have any on hand, the cost might change of just the material.
Sorry, thank you, Chair. Thank you, Ashley. Just because, and I will report this in my own report, but our budget amendments are due tomorrow. That's our deadline. So if there's any way that you can let me know by tonight, a round estimate, we could try and request it. I can't promise anything like always, but right now that's not in my budget request. Because I was told that it was going to be included in the donation. I would hate that if we get the process for the labor donated and we're stuck because we didn't get the poll. So if you could, by any chance, text me first thing in the morning with a number that maybe my team can input in the amendments. Our deadline is hard due tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you for bringing that up. Glad we're all here tonight.
Also with the budget, if it has to be in tonight, we definitely will try to fundraise for it on our own dime and ourselves to do it, to get it going.
Yes, sir. If you'd like to please introduce yourself for the record.
Ryan Chun, the budget thing's confusing to me because if about 20 years ago it was in the budget and they built everything to put the lights, where'd that money go and why are we confused on where the money's going to come from? That's just my only concern. I'm like, why would we have to fundraise if it was already there is what I'm trying to say.
Council member, you have a response for this? Thank you.
Again, Val Okimoto. I'll do my best. From what I understood, because I wasn't here at that time, but that's why when we got to visit the site, there are, I don't know how to explain these little, but at that time, I believe the community asked to not have it lit. So if you're asking what happened to that, they built the structure, that little cylinder base, and that's what we were inspecting. That's going to be part of it because when we met with Parks, they were trying to figure out the electrical connection. It's been 2 decades now. So this is a great question, and it's taxpayer dollars, so you have every right to ask that. But at that point, the community decided to not continue with the light, so that was stopped. And when we were there the other day, they were trying to figure out if the electrical wiring actually can continue to be functioning at this point. But I do appreciate, I want to thank you guys for all the efforts that you guys are being so proactive in, you know, trying to fundraise and finding private donors, because it really helps with the public-private partnership. And if it's so important to you guys, which I know it is, just coming from the government side, because we can't always be the most efficient time-wise. So we appreciate you guys working with us. And the more we can work together so that we can get this for the community, the better. But hopefully that can answer your question. Hopefully when we get it back turned on this time, we won't turn them off again, so that in too many years they're still on for, you know, the kids. So thank you. Thank you, Chair.
And that's why we're all here tonight pushing, you know, you're here presenting, right, informing our neighborhood board. That is why our neighborhood board has resolutions. Should we pass these resolutions, we send it along to the city to let them know that the community is in support of this, right? So we're just trying to, you know, set it all back in motion. Any other discussion before we go to the resolution? Yes, Sabrina.
Point of clarification. Val is talking about a base, and in our resolution, we talk about multiple lights. So how many lights are we looking at installing? Is it just one pole?
And I didn't count the number. We were there. They had the Parks Department walking around. I want to say at least 4. How many did we see, Ashley? Was it? I might have not seen them all though, because we were only standing on one side, but where we saw 6 or 7.
So we're looking for like 4 38-foot poles. The city's 6 or 7 38-foot poles.
I actually don't know the dimensions of them, but I would defer to you guys of what you guys had thought of in the process. But we can.
So that's a large line item for the budget then that we need to try and help push through.
Yeah, and we'll, again, if you guys have an idea, let me know, and we're gonna continue to work and see what we can do in the short time that we have.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
Let's go ahead with the resolution.
Okay. This resolution is supporting improvements to the Mililani District Park's skate park, lighting for skateboarding, roller skating, and inline skating park users. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mililani Waipahu Meliamanu Neighborhood Board number 25 hereby calls upon the city and county of Honolulu to prioritize the installation of lighting at Mililani District Park Skate Park, ensuring that skateboarding, roller skating, and inline skating enthusiasts can safely enjoy the facility after dusk in line with the operating hours of other Mililani District Park amenities. And be it further resolved that the Mililani Waipahu Meliamanu Neighborhood Board number 25 urges prompt action and collaboration between relevant city departments and community stakeholders to address this pressing matter of equity and safety, fostering a more inclusive and accessible environment for all residents of Mililani. I move we accept this resolution.
Okay, it's been moved by Committee Chair Gustafson. Is there a second?
Second by Segura.
Seconded by Segura. Members, we're in discussion in the resolution. Is there any discussion regarding the resolution before you? Okay. I just want to say again, thank you to City Council Member Val Okimoto for working with the community in terms of this. And this is actually, I do want to actually also thank an individual named Brandon Pagaragan, who emailed us emailed me in February regarding this matter. He shared a video made by Brixton Ramones. Brixton, wave. So members, Brixton made a very eloquent video regarding this problem in our Mililani community. And it was actually highlighted on Olelo Community Media. And so what I can do is we can send that video along. But I think that this is an important issue. Brixton raised a very good point that this is about equity. The Mililani District Park, if you take a look at and I went out after I received this email in February. I went out at night. I know the city knows I went out there. I sent a photo. And you'll take a look. It was about 8 p.m. It was dark in February, and the baseball fields are well lit till 10. The tennis courts and the pickleball courts are well lit until 10 p.m. The gym is with the basketball and indoor pickleball is well lit and accessible till 10 p.m. And I took a photo because everything is well lit except for the skate park, and it was very, very dark. So this is a really important matter of equity, especially for, just the access of our residents here. So I just wanted to thank Brixton, the Romanes family, the Ohias, as well as Brandon Pagaragan, who explained that this was an issue at the Evan Neighborhood Board and got us to do this. So just wanted to mahalo everybody. Without further discussion, let's go into a vote. If there are any members of the Mililani Neighborhood Board who would like to oppose this resolution, please raise your hand now. Okay. If you are, please raise your hand if you would like to abstain on this resolution. Any abstentions?
Is it okay if we do a voice vote instead?
Oh, you'd like to do a voice vote?
Yeah, thank
Okay,
you.
go ahead, Rachel.
Okay, so we'll try that again. Is there any members that wants to oppose? Please say that. Hearing none, okay. Any abstentions? None. All in favor, say aye. Okay, with that, we have all board members in favor and accept to approve.
Thank you, Rachel. Thanks everyone for being here tonight. We're going to go back into our regular agenda and go through our committee work as well as the reports of our elected officials. So thank you all for being here tonight. Congratulations. We're gonna move on to community concerns at this time. Are there any? At this time,
Chair
are there
Bass?
any residents? Yes.
Chair Bass, request a 5-minute recess. Just 5 minutes, just so we can clear up and get the noise level back to normal.
No. No recess. We're gonna continue. At this time, are there any members of the community who would like to report of any events or concerns within the community? Okay. Seeing none, we're gonna move into the reports of chairs and board committees. Thank you. On chair's report, I have no report. Thank you. We're gonna go to treasurer's report. Is there a report from the treasurer? Josie?
I don't know if this is going to require a motion or not, but as far as the treasurer's report is done, most boards have done away with the treasurer because the city, the neighborhood board has been handling the money. So there hasn't been a need for a treasurer.
Hi, yeah, I think that's an issue that we can revisit in maybe a future meeting. Yeah, sorry, Danielle, I had to step out for a moment. But I mean, yeah, that's something that the chair can look into, like possibly like just like taking off the treasury report.
Hi, it's Rachel. So that's my mistake. Normally I do remove it from the agenda, but this time I missed it. But we did decide to have it removed from the agenda going forward.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
thanks.
so for the other board members to be aware of it, there will no longer be a treasurer's report or a treasurer due to the fact that the neighborhood board is, the neighborhood commission has been controlling the money. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So that's it for Josie. Next up is community partnerships and community outreach. Alex.
No report, Chair.
Okay. Community recognition and service awards. Josie again.
Nobody has contacted me for any, please. If anybody has anything, that also goes for the elected officials. If there's somebody you want to be recognized, please let me know. Thank you.
Okay. Community maintenance and walk audit. Martina.
I just want to point out that the link is available on the agenda item to report any community concerns.
Okay, and yes, like there is a Google form that's linked on the agenda for like anyone who wants to like submit anything that they may notice while they're out on their walk. Planning, zoning, sustainable development, and climate resilience. Myself as chair. I'd just like to point out that there is a bill, Senate Bill 3202, currently in conference at the legislature. So that's a bill that I'm following. Hopefully it survives past Fridays. We'll see what happens. Next up, transportation and OMPO. Skylar.
The only thing was the taxi bill is still active in the city legislature right now. I will have to follow up with the city council members to see whether or not how they feel and whether or not they're going to be passing or not.
Okay. Military affairs and emergency management. Dennis. Okay. Health, healthlessness, and human concerns. Darsha.
No report. Thank you.
Parks and Rec. Sabrina, you've had a busy night.
No additional report.
And education. Marilyn.
Thank you. I do have a report because the principals send them to me or the PCNC. So I will give you the report for UCA. Principal Kardash has sent the report. And I think it's exciting news that they have started a Japanese culture club where students will learn about the language and participate in cultural activities. They'll also be preparing for a visit from Shitanoji Elementary students located in Osaka, Japan. That's exciting. The Wizard of Oz Youth Edition performance was performed and over 50 students were part of that. That's also very good. Spring concert will be this Friday, April 26th at 6 p.m. in the cafeteria. And on May 17th, We look forward to the first May Day event since before the pandemic. Their theme this year is Lokahi, which means a sense of belonging. These are important things for the school, and they want you to know about them. Kipapa School, I'm going to take my glasses off so I can see. They had also had a play at their school, and it was called Shrek Junior. And that production is now ended, but the students were very excited about that. And they are having several activities for their students, including graduation ceremony for their students. So they're looking forward to celebrating with them all. And that's from Jamil Duarte, PhD, the Kipapa Elementary School principal. And the long report comes from Mililani High School. This is from Chris Aguinaldo, Mililani High School's parent community coordinator. And they are very excited. Commencement is just around the corner, May 19th at 5 p.m. And I know Chair and I will be attending.
Pull that off around 1 minute long.
Okay, am I free? Yeah. Okay, so congratulations in advance to all the seniors. The Science Learning Center, the first robotics students in Team 2853 were Alliance captains at the Hawaii First Robotics Competition Regional. And Mililani teacher Tyson Kikugawa won the coveted Woody Flowers Award for outstanding mentorship. So they're actually being quite active in robotics, and that's good news too. On April 19th, another school play opened, and was called She Kills Monsters, presented by Central Theater Arts Academy. And that is continuing on this weekend, and tickets are still available for that. And then on April 20th, there'll be a Mother's Day food and craft fair. So that's always an exciting thing to attend. The Taste of Mililani continues in April. There'll be a community work day with the Emu celebration on Saturday, April 27th. Everyone is invited to attend that and participate. And there will be a garage sale on May 4th. Now, one more thing I'd like, I'll mention, Dylan Gabriel, who was one of our top football players a few years ago, and who's continued to be a top player in college events, is having an event on May 3rd, 2024, and we're all invited to it on the John Kainana Field from 5:30 to 8 p.m. And this is his way of thanking the Mililani community for all the help that they've been to him and his family. And he's done very well and in football, and he's putting this together to say thank you, Mililani. And the Gabriel family's put a lot of hard work into the event as well. So please attend 5:30 to 8, and it's free. Just walk in, and you don't have to stay the whole time, but support the school. Okay, that's all I have, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna go into elected officials reports. Is Nestor here for Ed Case's office? He's just here last month, so I don't think he would be tonight. Okay, seeing none. I see Tony's here for the governor's office.
Good evening, Chair, other members of the board. My name is Tony Schwartz. I'm here representing Governor Green's office. A few small announcements to make that the governor's office would like me to mention. The One Ohana Fund, he wanted me to let you know that we've made great progress towards recovery of Maui in March. The One Ohana Fund is now accepting applications from survivors who lost loved ones, also those who were seriously injured as a result of the fire. And the office is moving midterm recovery stage. That means transitioning away from temporary non-congregate shelters and into longer term builds. They also expect families to move into secure and safe housing options over the next 2 months. Over 220 million in savings has already been negotiated with their federal partners. And most importantly, one of the most important things is the U.S. Fire Administration is deploying 16 wind sensors and 80 new beta wildfire sensors with 24-hour alerting capabilities that can detect wildfires before they start across Hawaii. They also wanted us to mention that it is Tsunami Awareness Month. Hawaii Emergency Management Agency and its federal partners, and also state and county partners, observe every April as Tsunami Awareness Month. This year's focus is on awareness, education, and action, knowing what a tsunami is, how to recognize the signs of an impending tsunami, and what to do before, during, and after a tsunami occurs. Tsunamis can strike at any time. There is no tsunami season. They're often generated by earthquakes, but can be triggered by underwater volcanic eruptions and landslides or other powerful events too. Tsunamis are not one wave, they're several waves. And there's usually a roaring sound from the sea, strong earth shaking, or a sudden exposed seafloor. There may not always be time for a siren to sound. So they say, don't wait. Go to higher ground immediately if you witness any of these occurrences. After tsunami, wait for an all clear from authorities. So how can you prepare? Get a go kit, a go bag ready. Essentials like food, water, clothes, medication, and important documents in case you need to evacuate. Make a plan, which should include phone numbers and a meeting place if you get separated, and practice your plan with friends and family. You can visit ready.hawaii.gov for more information. You go to the Get Ready tab in the menu and select types of disasters to learn more. And then finally, this month is National Sex Assault Awareness Month. You may be noticing I'm wearing a denim jacket. That's because today is Denim Day. It's a worldwide campaign that's part of Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And earlier today, Denim Day sign waving was held out in front of Honolulu Hale. The mayor even came out sporting a denim jacket to promote awareness and support for survivors of sexual violence. So a little history about Denim Day. I didn't even know this until recently, that the campaign began after a ruling by the Italian Supreme Court where a rape conviction was overturned because the justices felt that since the victim was wearing tight jeans, she must have helped the person who raped her and thereby implying consent. After that, the following day, the women of the Italian parliament came to work wearing jeans in solidarity with the victim. And then a nonprofit group called Peace Over Violence developed the Denim Day campaign in response to this case. So since then, what started as a local campaign to bring awareness to victim blaming has grown into a worldwide movement. As the longest running sexual violence prevention and education campaign in history, Denim Day asks community members, elected officials, businesses, and students to make a social statement by wearing denim on April 24th. And that's all I have.
Members, any questions for Tony? Mary?
I previously asked about FEMA trailers, and I read where the governor rejected FEMA's offer for trailers, wants to build alternate housing, but probably most property owners want to stay on their own property until they can rebuild on it. And it seems like it would be so much less expensive to us, the taxpayer, if we took FEMA up on the trailers. Why did the governor reject the trailers?
So the governor stated that trailers were demoralizing to most people because they are temporary housing that it has a stigma to it. And he wanted to provide something that was a little more sustainable and also a little, a better looking, more feasible option. He also mentioned that right now, the land that has been cleared is also, it doesn't have any infrastructure. So even a trailer on that land will not have water, sewer, or utilities at this time. So they're looking at other options in other places at this time to put up an additional at least 450 housing options, as well as that will have the infrastructure capable to handle this larger population while they wait for the property's utilities to be put back in place.
Okay, that just so the governor knows there's something demoralizing about trailers. I have family who went through Katrina in Louisiana, and everyone was very appreciative of the trailers. They're very nice. It was hard eventually to get them out of the trailers. They were so nice, but they were on their own property, able to protect their own property and not have to move to another location. So I would hope the governor doesn't make decisions for the rest of us about what's demoralizing and what isn't. They're very nice.
Okay, I see Anne has your hand up. Go ahead, Anne.
Yeah, so this will be quick. I just want to pass on my thanks and the thanks of all the women who deal with victims of gender-based violence for the governor's recognition of this problem in the Denim Day and your presentation. Kind of awesome. I really appreciate it. Thanks. That's it.
Any other members of the board who have any questions for governor's office? Dennis.
Just a quick question. Here? Okay. What is wrong with using containers modified for temporary housing from the governor's standpoint?
I will bring back the question. Also, it's the same, I think, as what Mary was asking about FEMA trailers.
Any other questions for the governor's office? Emil?
I just want to follow up. Last time you told me that Scott Nago was appointed to as a chief of election office, and there was a letter which followed your statement from the chief of the election commission announcing it on April 1st, which was 2 months after he was already paid. So I just want to make sure that governor knows what's going on with the office of elections. And if he can make a statement if what they did was lawful, because when I was watching the videos, it looks like the motion to appoint him didn't pass. But the statement of the chair, Michael Curtis, says that the election commission reappointed Scott Nago. I just want to make him aware of it. Thank you.
Okay.
Mike, you have a question?
Yeah, I got a question on the widening of Kipapa Gulch Cam Highway. 2015, the state highway canceled the project, said it was too expensive, but the growth in Central Oahu is getting greater and more people and more housing being built. They need to plan to turn Cam Highway into a 4-lane highway. And they need to start this plan again. Any large state project takes over 10 years to start, plan, and construction. 2024, it'd be 2034, or they might even think about getting a bulldozer going.
Final question for the gov's office. Okay, seeing none, thank you so much, Tony. All right, up next, Tracy Kubota, Mayor's Rep.
Hey, good evening, Chair members. Tracy Kubota, Mayor Rick Blanchard's representative. Getting into the responses from last week. Can you guys hear me okay? Sorry, okay. So first question I had a response to was regarding the stormwater tax status. And I think this one was about what is the status of the stormwater tax and when is it planned to be implemented? So I got a response from the Department of Facility Maintenance, and they said that they have been continuously working on and updating its information and data in an effort to introduce and establish a stormwater utility fee. Similar to the Oahu Board of Water Supply drinking water fees and Department of Environmental Services sewer fees, it's a fee that is directly tied and associated with the projected cost of services that will be necessary to maintain and manage the city stormwater system for the island of Oahu. Due to various timing issues over the past few years, the administration and department has elected to hold off on introducing any fee proposal to the Holy City Council, but are anticipating and gearing up to possibly introduce an ordinance bill in early 2025. In terms of when the fee will go into effect and implemented has not been determined at this time. until the bill ordinance has gone through its necessary review at council, public hearings, and adoption process. Department of Facility Maintenance expects that there will need to be additional time accounted beyond the time if the ordinance were to pass and when the fee actually goes into effect to allow for any necessary notifications to property owners for billing adjustments and collections. Okay, next one. So this one is about assistance with aggressive dogs who should be contacted when they're loose. They're on the loose, and when there are stray aggressive dogs, what happens when own aggressive dogs are consistently loose? So HPD responded that you can call 911 to request to meet a police officer, call Hawaii Humane Society dispatch at 808-956-2250, or complete a citizen complaint with the Hawaii Humane Society at their website, Hawaii Humane Society, hawaiihumane.org/report animal cruelty. Society, and once an investigation is conducted, the society may issue a citation to the dog owner. For additional funds for ambulance units. Okay, so does the administration anticipate that they will request for additional funding from the Department of Health or legislature to provide an establishment of more ambulance units due to the closure of Waihawa General Hospital's emergency room? So the response from Emergency Services Department said opening an additional city and county EMS ambulance in Central Oahu, even if only for 12 hours during peak call time, would be beneficial. They could base it at their Waipio station. They're currently considering doing this within their existing city budget. However, they did also informally discuss this with Senator De La Cruz as state appropriations to assist with funding is necessary. That's it. I'll take back any questions. Members, questions for Tracy? Les.
Yeah, Tracy, I was talking to you at the last meeting about those the giant roots that are growing under the. I wrote this out for you, but the streets in the. It's from Cam Highway on Lani Kohana Avenue on the left lane, going up to Makai Moimo Street, which is the cross street. It's written down. The giant underground roots on the road are popping up so big and starting to rip through the pavement. And it's not only a safety concern, it's going to take a lot of work to get all those roots dug out and repave it. So I think the city should know about that for long term. And anyway, I wrote it all there for you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you.
Any other questions for City and County of Honolulu?
Well,
Mike.
Well, this would be more of a comment. When they did Mehula Parkway, the city came out and explained what the paving and the tree roots growing into the roadway. And he said the developers love putting these big shower trees in, which are pretty, but the root system, you're gonna repave the road and 3-4 years later, the root's gonna come right back into the roadway. So it's gonna be a constant problem unless you take out all the trees and put in some other type of smaller tree.
Any other questions for City and County? Okay. Seeing none, thank you. Thank you. Okay, up next, Val Okimoto. She's been busy tonight.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair, members of the board, members of the community, both here in person and online. Sorry, excuse me. Councilmember Val Okimoto, District 8. All of you should have received my written report. Mahalo to my my staffer Jocelyn for always coming here on time to deliver that while I'm running around. I will stand on it. I just wanted to focus on a couple of things that were in the report before I give you the budget update, expounding on what I have already shared. But some fun things that I always like to share what Mililani does. We're such a wonderful community. So anytime I can highlight or participate in events we do, I was able to participate once again in the Central Oahu Baseball Association. That was a fun activity where we have all these keiki coming in from mostly Mililani, but there's other parts of the island they come and they have a baseball opening day. So grateful to have participated in that. And just to let you know, at the Hale, we were able to welcome and recognize the MCAA. They have been, really good volunteer organization that's been instrumental in offering basketball to our keiki. So we were able to welcome them and recognize them, and they were really grateful to be there, but we were honored to have them. They've, I think for I want to say the 80s is when I heard that they actually started. They were called MCA at that part, or MBA, I think, Mililani Basketball Association. And now they go by MCAA. So that's just some fun things happening in the district. Now to get to the meaty part, I did state earlier that we do have our amendments that are due tomorrow for the budget. Our budget deadline is for the budget this year is June 30th, 2024. So I did mention the $2 million that we still have allocated for the outdoor hockey rink. I was hoping that the hockey league would still be here. I know that there were questions about who uses the facility and not, and they've been really instrumental in having the park open up again. So that's really great. But I think, and if I don't get to see this, I'll try and talk to them on the side. This is, like was mentioned, it is a public park. So while they are the ones that have been to open it, it is open to everyone, and everybody has to go through the same, if they're meeting as a league, then they have to go through the same permitting process. And I did hear some, not concerns, but the parks wants to make sure that it's open to anybody. If a mom wants to go skating with her family, that they can do that. So while the league has been instrumental in opening it up, we want to make sure that everybody in the community feels welcome. But we do have that in our budgets, and it will continue to stand there. We also have in our budget funding to develop a community garden. And this is in the Malka part of Mililani, but just so that you know, I'm telling you this because when we do this, the goal is to have it open for what I think the MTA has been doing, but on a smaller scale. We met with them last year and we'll continue. I think there's been some change in personnel in the department. So we're going to continue. Our goal is to take a portion of the Mililani Malka District Park and use it as a community garden. And we had some nonprofit organizations that were willing to partner with us. And we thought that would be a good way to take a piece of land that sort of gets not maintained all the time so that the community can have some ownership in it. And then we could have ag responsibilities kind of passed on to the community. We have some additional funding for positions and equipment to maintain the parks in Mililani and in the Central District. If you have concerns, I know the community has been really good about letting me know when there's a park that's been not maintained, or if there's after the weekend there's trash that's been built up. And the Parks Department has been pretty responsive whenever we let them know. They are understaffed and their equipment is also needing to be either replenished or replaced. And so that's what we're dealing with. So we've put in some budget for that. I think that's, I want to make sure that I get through the Mililani portions first before I give you. We have money in for the park development and, sorry. Outside of that, we have additional funding for HPD, our community policing teams, and the Law Enforcement Explorer program. We are always willing, we're so fortunate. I saw Officer Muna leave earlier and they work really closely with us and they do a lot in the community. So we've increased or put in funding to continue to support them. I'm happy to report that the Honolulu Fire Department has solicited and executed a contract for the department's first twin-engined helicopter, and this aircraft will provide HFD with a more capable and safer platform to conduct rescue and also wildland firefighting missions. And I know that when we had our Malka fire here that was close to home, that was something that also brought to light in lieu of, as also after the Hana fires, we're trying to do all we can to be proactive. This Bell 429 twin engine helicopter is expected to be delivered in the fall of 2024. And the need for upgraded fire response aircraft was highlighted, like I said, during our department. I've also requested to expand and train our Honolulu community policing teams, in all 8 patrol districts. I'm also, I mentioned the law enforcement, 100,000 for them and 800,000 for the community policing teams. And I have one more thing. Oh, finally, next week is going to be committee hearing weeks again. So I'm the chair of public safety. And on Thursday at 1 p.m., we'll be having our committee hearing. I also am including an informational briefing on Oahu wildfire preparedness. So we have the director of Department of Emergency Management, Director Toya, as well as the wildfire, forgot their name, I apologize, but they're going to be coming. Jamie's going to kill me. Jamie, if you're watching me, text me and I'll get the name to you. But it's to address the Oahu wildfire preparedness. As we leave our winter and spring seasons, we're going to get into summer and it's going to get hot. So we want to make sure that we are prepared for that. For any other assistance, please feel free to, you can go to the Honolulu City Council website, honolulucitycouncil.org. You can also email my office at valokimoto@honolulu.gov or call at 808-768-5008. We also encourage those who like to go online to follow for updates on my social media at Councilmember Val Okimoto. And with that, I will gladly take any further questions at this time.
Thank you, Councilmember Okimoto. Members, any questions for the council member? Catherine, followed by Member Ross, and then Mary.
I saw you too, Emil, so you can come back. Thank
Good
you.
evening, Val.
Good evening,
I
Catherine.
called your office
Okay.
and Janie turned my phone call, and my concern was in the newspaper that HART would be given authority to exercise eminent domain, and I was wondering if they didn't have that on the agenda. So I was wondering what is the status of what the council, I don't want any more money be appropriated to HART because the train goes by daily every 10 or 15 minutes and it's empty. So last week I was caught in traffic on Kamehameha Highway, and I saw 3 people and 1 bike rider get up at the Pearl Ridge station, and 1 bike rider went onto the train. And so we're wasting electricity, and I'm very concerned.
Okay, so you said you called and you talked with Jamie from my office. Okay, and the question was on eminent domain. Is that what you asked?
Scanned through the agenda. I scanned through the agenda and nothing was on the April 17th. So I wanted to know
I apologize. I'm not sure if I understand. Nothing was on the agenda pertaining
regarding
to.
What the city council is going to do about HART exercising eminent domain on properties along Kamehameha Highway, like Marukai and some other.
Are you talking about the electrical easements? Okay, I will have to double check on that. I'm not sure. I want to make sure I understand your question correctly also. So I will maybe talk to you on the side, get your question, and then talk to Jamie to see what conversation you have with him. And I don't want to say anything that I'm not fully understanding right now. And then I want to make sure I get the right information to you.
So I was wondering on the budget, then how much is given to HART for the.
A lot.
That's why.
Yeah.
I
Well-
don't want any money to be spent or appropriated for HART. It's a failed project.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Member Ross.
Charlie Saxey came to you guys to request for their increase to have the city and council release RO 36-1.9.
I'm putting this on so I can follow up. ROH 36-1.9.
1.9. It's the one that's a lot that the city is the right to determine what
Their
the
rates.
standard rates and what's considered. for
They
that
came to us
city.
several months ago, I believe. I
Correct.
haven't
So
seen them
they're
since then.
bringing it up to AMPO again.
Okay.
The organization for neighborhood boards. So I just wanted to know if the city council member or if the city council has any current resolutions or anything else like that supporting or going against what it is, because they were requesting for it. So in the previous meeting, it was just them kind of giving a highlight.
I remember that hearing.
And this one that they had, they were talking about how they were trying to get it so that way it would no longer require the city and council to allow like caps and limits. everything would be done by Charlie's Taxi or the taxi company themselves.
Okay.
And I just want to know, is there any still resolution?
So there's no hearing scheduled at this point, but we're
Yeah.
considering amendments. I am actually the vice chair of AMPO, so I will take that to Director Garrity and see what we can do to follow up on that. But thank you for bringing that back. It's been a while since we had that hearing, so I've been focused on budget, but thank you. Thank you, Member Ross.
Okay, Mary.
Okay, so I heard earlier that the stormwater sewer tax has got to go to the council to vote to pass it. Did I understand that?
Stormwater. I'm taking on this down, so if I don't have the answers with me, I need to go follow up. Stormwater.
So
sewer.
we heard about the stormwater tax, but if it comes.
Okay, it hasn't
to
been
the-
presented yet.
If it comes to the council, I know no one who wants you to pass it. So we don't need another new tax, just in
I-
case you're wondering.
I agree. And I will, it's still pending, and when they come to us, I will definitely listen to what they're presenting. But I am for also not overtaxing our residents here.
Any
Thank
other
you.
questions for Councilmember Okimoto's office? Emil, last question.
Thank you. Basically, you already asked my question, but what about airport station? When it's gonna be open, so maybe the ridership will increase because it's gonna make more sense to take it. But what about that, the airport station? And is there any specific route for a bus which would be serving Mililani?
No, that's a great question. I know that when the rail going to Aloha Stadium opened, that they were really trying to see what we can do to, because it doesn't come our way. But there are buses that I think take us to, I want to say Waipahu, and then from there you can go to the Aloha Stadium. I will have to follow up with Director Morton to talk about the routes. And I also don't know the deadline for the airport station. I'll check with Director Kahikina on that. But the bus routes, I'll go to Director Morton and see. I don't know. If Tracy, if you know anything, let me know. If not, I can go to Roger and find out from him. I know that they are mindful. They also are aware that when the Pearl City parking structure got tabled because of the foundation and the budget, they were really mindful on how they can then address our concerns, how we can get ridership coming from our area. So the last I heard and understood, they were addressing routes to take us to the Waipahu area, and then on the Waipahu you could take bus routes to the rail and then forward to town. So Emil, I'm gonna make a note that I'm gonna follow up on that, and my office or myself, somebody who is here will follow up and get the information for you. That's a great question, though. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you so much, Councilmember. That was a lot for you tonight, so we're going to give you a break.
Thank you, Chair.
Naya is online from Councilmember Wire's office.
Aloha Chair, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Okay, great. Aloha Chair and members of the board, Kelly Anaya from Councilmember Matt Wire's office. Just a couple updates regarding budget. Councilmember did put in about $160,000 for immigrant services and engagement for 2 positions with the Office of Economic Revitalization to address issues related to resources for immigrant services and engagement. And also, he did put in some money for Mililani Neighborhood Park to repair and or replace the court and field lighting fixtures. Another, I guess, update, if you will, a second round of the city's rental and utility relief program funding may be available, as there some funding still available in tranche 2 that remains unspent. The reallocation of about $7 million would be used to assist eligible households with rent payment, rent arrears, utility payment, and utility arrears as well. The additional funding would benefit an estimated 1,200 additional households. City Council has until May 1st to respond, otherwise the funds will be automatically reallocated. I don't have any other information about that at this time, but we'll be sure to update the board when it becomes available. And also, from last month, or probably the 2 meetings ago. I believe it was board member Sabrina Gustafson had asked about council members' attendance to these board meetings. Council member said he would be happy to schedule a call with anyone to talk story and answer any questions, even if you don't live in our district. It's a standing policy that he has in our office. And also, I believe someone had asked about the pay raise. He said he would be giving it back. That's all the updates I have for now. If anyone has any questions for council member, I can take them back.
Members, questions for Councilmember Wires' office? Sabrina.
According to my research, the council member is or could attend 7 neighborhood boards. And since January of this year, he's had over 15 opportunities to attend meetings at 7 of these boards. And he's only attended one, the March meeting in Waipio. Do you know why he's chosen to only attend one meeting?
No, like I mentioned the last time, I don't do his scheduling.
Well, we did see him at the town hall, Sabrina, so. Okay, members, any other?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just curious, do you know the statistics? What immigrants are we taking? I mean, state of Hawaii, from which countries are they coming mostly, or, you know, do you have some list of which, you know?
No.
Is
Okay,
no.
yeah. No, I don't have that offhand. I would have to look into that and get back to you. Not a problem.
Thank you.
Any final questions for Councilmember Wires' office? All right. Seeing none, thank you so much, Kelly.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, next up, Senator Michelle Kidani's office. I guess Trevor will be presenting.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, members of the public. Trevor Nagamine here on behalf of Senator Michelle Kidani. Senator does send her regrets that she was not able to attend tonight. She's currently involved in discussions on various bills that are currently in conference committee since the filing deadline for most of these bills is this Friday. It's just a couple highlights from her newsletter. So again, you see on the first page, there's a short list of bills that are still alive and hopefully will survive past this Friday. And we would also like to congratulate former Mililani Middle School Principal Ellen Chung on her appointment to the Senate Board, to the State Board of Education. She was recently confirmed by the State Senate as one of Governor Green's appointees. And other than that, I'd be happy to take any questions.
Members, questions for Senator Kidani's office? All right, seeing none. Thank you so much, Trevor.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anyone here representing Senator Dela Cruz's office? Okay, no representative. Next up, we have Representative Amy Prusso. Come on down.
Aloha. So we are, as was mentioned earlier, in the midst of conference committee hearings. The budget was just decked. And so we have our operating budget and our CIP budget, and we'll have more details about how it's kind of shaken out. I really don't feel comfortable sharing an analysis yet because I don't have a clear of the patterns of spending. And but I think that it is important to note that we did adopt a new pattern or practice this session in the House, at least, when we are, so 2 things. The first is that we are going through the budget line by line. So if you go onto the Capitol website and you follow the finance hearings, for example, you can see that the outcomes of the negotiations being read out, so the House and Senate agreements within every department. And this happened over the course of multiple days. And I think that that allows the public to have some insight as to the easiest points to agree upon, and then as things got more difficult and how they're able to come to agreement. And and what they finally agreed upon. The other practice I think that was important that was adopted this session is that of, at least in the House, we're reading out the summaries of each, the substance of the amendments that are being made, the agreements being made at the table in the conference committee hearings and even before we vote on those measures to vote them out of the conference committee. So I think that's important because last session we saw, I think, an erasure of transparency with the cattle call, and we're really doing a lot this session to avoid falling into that situation again. And I think that the other piece of what we've been doing differently this session is doing anticipatory agreements. So the bills on which we initially disagreed, now we're identifying areas of agreement and moving those through more rapidly so they don't have to go to conference committee just because they have a defective date. So we're trying to do what we can to improve the outcomes this session, and I am hopeful, but I will reserve judgment until I have a real chance to dig into the budget and we look at the outcomes on the policy bills and the appropriation measures. So one highlight today, I think, especially for the Lahaina folks, was a passage out of conference committee of HB 2919, which is the measure that would give counties more power to deal with the short-term rental situation. And in Maui, that's particularly important with the housing shortage because much of the housing that might be available is not available because it's caught up in that short-term rental market. So I'm available for questions. Oh, one last thing I want to say. I normally don't talk about community events too much because, you know, time is limited and I know you guys are tired, but I would encourage folks to attend the Shrek musical, or actually, so the whatever musical or whatever performance is put on by the Kipapa Elementary students next year, because it was really wonderful. They did this musical, Shrek musical, and it was really beautiful and well done, and something that I think the whole community should attend and support. And then the last comment will be that we also wrapped up the Kiki Caucus internship today. And we did have one intern from two interns from Mililani High School, and they did fabulous presentations, and the program is really growing and developing with strong support from schools like Mililani. So grateful for that. So now I'm ready for questions.
Okay, members, any questions? Let's see. Any questions from the public? Okay, seeing none, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, next up is Representative Matsumoto.
Good evening, Chair and members of the board. Again, want to let everybody know one of the main things is our mid-session, which is session survey. So our final date for that survey is this Friday. So please, if you haven't filled that out already, turn that in. We've already had 700 people respond, which has been really exciting. That's a lot of people who have responded to the survey. So you have the QR code on your report, or go to repmatsumoto.com and it will be right there. You have a list of our moving measures and resolutions that are going through the process or have passed through the House. So we have a lot of resolutions that were addressed by this board or by community members when it came. So again, the resolution for the Mililani Satellite City Hall, relating also to the Mililani Malka Emergency Road, the native plant seeding project, which I think I'd mentioned before, was done by a Mililani Malka fifth grader who wrote us an email. We put a reso together and then that was passed to the House. She also put wonderful testimony in, and then also a resolution relating to electric bikes. On the inside, you'll see all of the community events. Again, our Capitol Talkin' Tour, we had about 100 people turn out. So thank you for everybody who came out to that. You can look through all of the other community events there, but I did want to highlight Assistant Principal Jeff Horstman and his award ceremony. I don't know if that was brought up here, but he from Mililani Middle School was the Assistant Principal of the Year. And he actually was the top 3 in the nation. He just went to DC 2 weeks ago. Unfortunately, didn't win that top spot, but he was recognized as one of the top 3. So a huge accomplishment for Mililani Middle. And then again, thank you to everybody who came to our legislative update town hall at Mililani District Park last week. We had great attendance and great conversations there. And then I just wanted to give an update on the Mililani Malka emergency exit route. So that's on your last page. So that project is going to, DOT is moving forward. It's going to go in Malka, if you can look up there through the dog park. So that way there's 2 exits. It's going to connect to the freeway so that there isn't just the one way in, one way out. When talking with Director Ed Sniffen today, they're hoping to have the plans finalized by the end of this month or close to, and then the project to be finished by end of year. So that is the goals for there. And then also, this is a Mililani Malka issue, but many of you have probably seen the water issues and the water questions going on with Mililani Malka. So there is that Board of Water Supply update here at the bottom. So if anybody has any questions, that is the conclusion of my report.
Thank you, Representative. Members, any questions for Representative Matsumoto?
For the emergency exit, I see that it goes through the dog park. Is the dog park going to be relocated?
So right now, I was talking with Ed Sniffen, it is the dog park will be cut in half, so not optimal. But when they were looking at it, that is the most direct path to getting the emergency access road out. They were seeing if they can go possibly along the fence line, but they're still looking into that. So the dog park will still be accessible. You'll just have an emergency road through it.
And one more question, follow up on that. Is the emergency exit going to have a gate?
Yes.
Okay.
So it will have a gate. It's going to have access with everybody who's within emergency management. So it will be locked at all times. It is also only one way. Nobody can be coming in. Everybody has to be coming out. And I think they're still working out whether it's going to be a big 1 lane or 2 lanes. They're working out that. So those final plans will be coming out hopefully in the next few weeks. And we'll know whether it goes directly through or along the fence line.
Members, any other questions? Member Smart, followed by Member Ross.
Okay, and if you're the wrong person, I apologize, but I thought of this only now. A friend recently fell and broke her femur, and she had to go to one of the hospitals. She couldn't go to the hospital she wanted to go to, so she was taken out to Queens West. And I guess that had more space than the others that she wanted to go to, but she was put in the hallways. There's no privacy. It wasn't a real bed. It was like a stretcher. It was like a third world country medical. And I couldn't believe it when I went in to visit. It's not something that I know why was closed, but something has to be done. The way she was treated, and it just isn't the way to heal. So I don't know if that should be a statewide issue, but something has to be done. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, definitely, I think there's everybody who's looking into definitely our medical system while we're waiting for Coal Ridge and all of those conversations, but it's definitely a need and a concern that the board has brought up many times. And I think members of the community are very concerned about.
Thank you. Member Ross.
So regarding, sorry, going back to the emergency route.
Yep.
Are they going to repave that parking lot? Because that parking lot, there's a lot of trees. Destroyed that parking lot. And if you're saying that it's going to be an emergency exit, you know, unless you're, parking lots are made to go 5-10 miles an hour. Now you're making an emergency exit. If you're going to increase the speed to 25-30, then it changes a lot of dynamics of how everybody's going to be heading out. And that parking lot needs to be that same condition that we have for our roads. So that's one thing. And then if you're saying that this emergency exit is going to be the way it is, how is that going to also affect the baseball park next to it? Because I know you're saying that they're going to try to get, you know, as close to the fence as possible or kind of split the dog park in half. But you have all that extra land just to the east of the dog park that kind of wraps around that nobody actually uses because it kind of goes all the way to where the town center is. So like, if you're gonna be, instead of cutting it in half, is there a way they can just maybe move the dog park or just reallocate how the fence line is? Because all that is grass that DOT owns. All they really have to do is just kind of expand it. So that way there's still an actual dog park there, because it's a very significant dog park. I can tell you that not only people from Mililani, a lot of people from Mililani town use it as well, because it's just so easy. It's so convenient. It's right there next to the freeway. It's great parking, unlike a lot of the other dog parks here in Mililani town. So it's a very big, and they always have community events going on the weekends and stuff like that for all the Petco and Pet City and stuff like that. So I really, when you're going back to talking to DOT, you know, first, if you're going to be putting it there, what are we going to do about the road going to it? You know, how are we going to make sure that the individuals are safe exiting out of Mililani? Because during a panic situation, they're going to try to get out as fast as possible if it's something like that. Or if that bridge goes down, they're going to need some way of getting in and out in a safe condition manner. And then second, like that, instead of cutting it in half, can we reallocate some of that extra land or redo how that park is kind of set up? So that way, baseball field is baseball field. We can still have that clear segregation between the two. Because I know a lot of people, especially when it gets extremely crowded over there, people go right into the baseball field because it's already locked off completely. And you'll see a lot of the larger dogs going over there throwing and stuff like that. So that would be really one big concern, especially with this one-way road going out of it.
Great suggestion on the parking lot. Nobody has brought that up, even in the town halls and the different neighborhood boards. Make sure I'm understanding. So are you suggesting the dog park move over on the left-hand side of the road, like extend it? Is that the suggestion?
You can't move left because that's
The park.
The park. So that is the baseball park. That's how it's fielded. And I think
But on the right hand towards the private land?
towards that private line, all that is just grass right now, and it's
Okay.
all. There's a hill going down, but then on the top of that, it's all flat land until you actually hit the backside of where Longs and Hele is. That's why, because that kind of wraps around towards that side, right?
Yeah, and that's the area that's all privately
Oh, okay.
privately owned.
Oh, okay.
So that the issue that we had there was because it's not owned by the city.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean there can't be anything that happens later, but when talking with Director Sniffen with some of these things, they're looking for the most immediate straight path out. Because even when we asked to do that detour road, the emergency road, to have cars turn, go straight, and then come around. So when they said when they're looking through all the safety guidelines, doing the most direct path straight out to the freeway, but that doesn't mean that there can't be things going forward for the dog park. So I'll take that back to Director Sniffen and to the parks, because the Malka Neighborhood Board has been asking if we can do something with that land between the Longs Area Shopping Center and the park. So that is definitely something that I think is open and will have to be worked out with parks. Yeah.
Yes. No, this is a, sorry, don't try to inhale coffee, guys. This has been a long issue with the Mililani Malka Neighborhood Board, and our board has always strongly supported the emergency access route. So kudos to the Mililani Malka Neighborhood Board, DOT, your offices, and our state legislative representatives for making this happen. And, you know, there aren't many dog parks in Mililani. So if we can try to figure out, you know, in the long term, how we can accommodate the dog park, that would be great.
Yeah, I'll make sure. It has been the issue has been well raised with DOT, and we'll continue to, I think Director Sniffen, when talking with him, his focus is getting the emergency access route done first. So that way that is taken care of. And he's hoping that this isn't the only one, that because there is a great need in Malka with the amount of residents that live there and how long anybody who has to drop somebody off at school, at the middle school, or when I used to have to take my daughter for preschool, it took me about 45 minutes just to get into Malka. So everybody knows how difficult that gets. So that's the immediate goal, and then definitely is a top concern for making sure we get the dog park figured out.
Thank you. Any final questions for Rep. Matsumoto? Yes, Sabrina.
Just a comment on this emergency exit route. I'm really concerned that the exit route is literally 1 block, 2 blocks away from the main entrance and exit. I don't see how this helps the people of Upper Malka exit in case of a fire. And you're pushing everybody onto a 2-lane road in one direction towards Wahiwa. Wahiwa cannot support an influx of Mililani Malka residents. So I think going the direction towards Wahiwa is an error. And I think putting it so close to the main entrance and exit is an error as well. I'm wondering why this location was chosen.
So to explain through the kind of the process we went through, we originally were looking at some of the Castle and Cook land a little bit closer to Wahiwa. Unfortunately, it's a water reservoir, so you cannot build there, and you can't put a road, and it's very, very steep. And then the other way we looked was going through the park where the baseball field, where the actual baseball diamond is. There's also that open land there, but that's also going through parkland where we're going to have to get an easement versus this area is owned with DTS. And so they didn't have to go through the park's easement process. DTS could approve it with DOT to expedite the and this, there is a federal regulation on how close it can be from the other on-ramp that's already coming off of where you can come onto Wahiwa to get onto the H2. And this has the appropriate distance. Now, while it is very, very close to the other one, what I was told is all of the people who live in Mauka that are all on the left side, instead of them trying to come on to that main road, they can now be coming off of this exit. So you're not clogging those side streets coming on to Meheula. Does that make sense as I explained that? Okay. But that was, again, this is everything told as for our discussions with DTS and DOT, but I can take that concern back to them and let them know it would be, right now, the only option is going towards Wahiwa because of Mauka's location. You're having to get people over to the other side of the freeway, which is where we run into problems. I think most people would prefer, right? There's many more options if you're heading towards town, but because Mauka is located on the Mauka side of the freeway, right now that was the quickest option to get people out. But I will take that back to Director Sniffen as well.
Final question.
Final question. In an emergency, this is an emergency exit, okay? In an emergency, you head toward Wahiwa. I'm sure the military will allow people in that type of situation to go on to Wheeler Air Force Base or other places that is close by, but not going to be affected by the disaster as we look at. So, you know, I'm not too concerned about the road itself. This idea that when there's a major emergency, everybody's going to work together. It's not going to be, hey, that's my territory, don't come here, you know. It'll be an open area, everybody working together.
Yeah, and I will say, as horrific as Lahaina was, it really was an eye-opener. My husband is currently, he's just been all week in incident management training, right? Where they're realizing that there has to be a lot more coordination, that there has, you know, he's firefighter in case you don't know, and they're doing all of that training. So there is a lot more of that focus on making sure that there is a cohesive plan and effort if there is to be a huge disaster, or say that Mauka fires did come down, that there was that collaboration and work together. So there has been definitely eyes opened and a lot more coordination when it comes to those efforts. So yes, hopefully there'd be many options. So thank you. And I will bring an update next month on everything that we got here. And then hopefully they will have a finalized plan that we can share with everybody.
Thank you so much, Representative.
Okay, thank you.
All right, last but not least, we have Representative Tricia Chica online. Welcome.
Aloha, everybody. Aloha, Chair, Vice Chair members. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Okay, just kudos to Representative Matsumoto and Councilmember Okimoto for making it there. We were all at the Mililani Middle School award ceremony last night, but my kids won't let me leave the house and just got to, you know, tucking them in to bed. So apologies I can't be there, but my newsletter was shared. I believe it's in your Google Drive, as well as I pasted it in the chat. So just a few things to share, you know, on the budget. I'll be able to share that final report in the next newsletter, but we're happy that there's some, you know, funding in there for school bus services. We've also been really working with funding allocated to Department of Transportation. It's really modeling what we did at the cleanup at Kipapa Gulch, where there's an interagency partnership when an encampment has been vacant for a while. So how do we maintain it and then keep it clean for the community? So that funding has also made it to the final budget that was passed out last night. We're still in conference, so we're still in active negotiation. One bill that is in conference right now, and I'm really hoping and praying it makes it makes it out to final vote, is our bill in collaboration with Mililani High School, specifically Mililani High School students. It's really their effort to address climate change, but it's creating a plant-based option program for school meals in Mililani High School. And it's modeled after New York's Meatless Monday. So we've been really working hard with the department to really get this through. And so, yeah, it's in the final stages. My survey is also in there. We didn't have a long collection period, but I provide the question, the results, and then as well as the rest of the bill. And I voted on the different issues. If you'd like to follow up with me on any of those, I'm happy to share more. And then I did want to announce that there's some new road safety improvements. And so there's going to be changes to Kamehameha Highway. So the governor did release some funding for the design and construction of safety improvements on Kamehameha Highway from Kuahilani Avenue to Lanikuhana Avenue. So phase 1 will include just replacement of existing traffic signals and installing a missing crosswalk at Kuahilani intersection. And then phase 2 will create sidewalks on both sides of Kamehameha Highway between Meheula Parkway and Lanikuhana Avenue. So that's very exciting. Phase 1 is targeted to start at the end of this year. And then the last one is we worked with the city. We wanted a crosswalk for them to do a study and then see if they can install a crosswalk in that first bus stop when you're going down Nob Hill past Walmart, the first entrance to Nob Hill. But they wanted, the basic thing is they wanted cars to slow down. So if you notice behind Walmart, they did install in January what's called a gateway treatment. It's these poles. They're meant to pop back up if the driver hits them, but please don't try and hit them. So they're still doing the study in that and trying to see if this is something that could work and maybe potentially something they could install across the district. And then finally, we do want to invite folks to our end of legislative session update. I think it's on Tuesday next week, starting at 5:30 p.m. But also good news is we're going to have Queens Health System, Queens system there to provide an update and how they're going to engage with the community on the changes to Wahiawa General Hospital. But we're also going to have Wahiawa Hospital Association to talk about their plans to partner with Coal Ridge. So there'll also be an opportunity to engage with them there. And then Honolulu Police as well as Honolulu Fire will also be there to discuss public safety and fire safety. Any questions on those things, with the community. And that's it for my report.
Thank you, Representative. Members, any questions for Representative LaChica? Actually, thank you for bringing up the Cam Highway safety improvements. That was a big deal for this Mililani Neighborhood Board. In fact, just for the record, for everyone's awareness, gosh, when Richard was chair and my dad was the vice chair, this was something, I think over 5 years ago that the Mililani neighborhood passed, right? Neighborhood board passed. And thank you, Representative LaChica, for pointing that out. Representative Yamane at the time got it in the budget, and then the funds didn't go through. DOT didn't appropriate those monies. So what was it, 2 years ago, we learned that DOT wasn't appropriating that money anymore. The money has lapsed. And so our neighborhood board again approached Senator Kidani and Representative Yamane at the time, and they got that in the budget. And thank you, Trevor, for presenting that last month on those on those improvements for Chem Highway. This is the last sidewalk in Mililani. I mean, of the whole area of Mililani, everyone has sidewalks but this facility, so it's a big deal. Anyway, thank you, Representative LaChica, for highlighting that again. Okay, any other final questions? All right, seeing none, thank you, Representative LaChica. Okay, we're gonna go into announcements. Next board meeting will be Wednesday, May 22nd, here in Mililani High School, 7:30 H building. And if you want to see this neighborhood board on Olelo, tune into channel 49 every second Thursday, 9 a.m. and channel 54 every first and third Saturday at 9 a.m. With that, is there a motion to adjourn? Moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. We are adjourned.